What happened to Dave could happen to anybody. He was just trying to help, get something sorted for the client. Dave was working on a high step ladder just to fix some emergency lighting. His workmate questioned him. Was it safe? Did he have the right equipment? Dave didn't listen. Dave pulled the wrong cable. It caused an electrical flash. Dave stepped back off the ladder. He hit the concrete floor hard. I mean really hard.
We're responsible for unloading tankers which contain caustic soda. It's really nasty stuff. It can burn you very badly. Steve knew that. So Steve thought everything was good and the tanker was ready to be unloaded. The valve was padlocked. Steve couldn't find the key, so he cut the lock off with bolt cutters. He really shouldn't have done that. Steve wasn't aware there was a subcontractor working there. When he realised, he shouted to get him out. The subcontractor couldn't hear Steve, so he removed his visor, and that's when he got burnt.
He was rushed to hospital, 2 broken femurs, a fracture of the spine and the right heel. He could have been paralysed or killed.
Can you imagine, as his line manager, how I felt when it had happened? Steve coming through the door and said, "I've done something I shouldn't have." And he was white, absolutely white.
I remember that day when we took the call. It made me feel sick.
The injury was reported to the HSE. There was a criminal investigation that went on for 2 years. He was just constantly worried. He was questioning, am I going to go to jail? Am I going to see my son's next football match? Think about that poor guy that got burnt.
An improvement notice was served. Dave was off work for a long time. He could have been crippled or even killed. Think about the loss of Dave's livelihood on his family.
He could have seriously injured that subcontractor. Imagine living with that for the rest of your life. 2 years, Steve had a jail sentence hanging over him.
Mistakes were made. Mistakes that could have cost Dave and his family everything.
Make sure you know how to do your job safely. If you're not sure, then don't do it.
And if you know how to do your job, make sure you follow the correct procedures.
If you aren't trained, don't do it. If your environment isn't safe, stop.
Make sure you have the right equipment for the job. Stop and think.
Just think about the consequences.
We've had to live with the consequences of our actions. Make sure you don't.